Welcome to the Timken Museum of Art. We are San Diego's only free art museum. We're known for our significant collection of European old masters, American paintings, and Russian icons. We're also known for our special exhibitions. We have 3 per year. Our hope is that this overview gives you a much broader perspective and appreciation for what you'll be viewing today.
This particular exhibition is a rare chance for this community to look at works by 3 of the greatest artists from the history of art. In the first case, Jacques Callot, a great artist of the 17th century, mostly known for his prints, and will have his most famous series, The Miseries of War, in its entirety on display. Along with that, Francisco Goya, one of the great artists of the Enlightenment. We have his entire group of the disasters of war, often seen but never seen in its entirety, and I'm pretty sure only rarely seen all at once on a wall. All 80 works in that series shown together, which is going to be breathtaking for many people and worth coming back again to see. And along with that, a 20th century artist, George Bellows, maybe best known for his boxing pictures, which are among the greatest works in the history of American art. I love those paintings. We'll have the group of lithographs that he made in 1918 as a response to World War I. Yeah, so we're taking a little bit of a different approach to presenting this work than other museums have in recent times. And so to put those 3 artists together in the same room, 110 objects, is something we won't see again. As we look at the history of art and go back to antiquity, there are many representations of war. It's not a new subject, but those representations tended to be allegorical or mythological. There was a lot of heroism displayed in those works. It's not until Callot, really, that you get this commitment to realism and a sense that war was not a glamorous thing. And he's looking at war without that heroizing gaze that others took. Same could be said for Goya, who's committed to a kind of brutal realism. In fact, writes on these prints, "I saw this, and this too." And he's making a claim that these works do more than just offer an idealized view of what combat could be. Indeed, he experienced great suffering.
I think a lot of people have preconceptions about what to expect from the Timken. That's why we like to bring in these special exhibitions to really shake up those expectations, and you'll have a much broader understanding of art in general. It's not only beautiful. Sometimes it's very intense, it's very dramatic, it's very thought-provoking. And our objective is to open your eyes and really help you experience the art from a very new perspective.
The way that you look at prints is very different than the way you look at paintings. You're supposed to get close to them. And Jacques Callot, as an artist, really understood this, and his printmaking technique really took advantage of this. So what he did, he adapted etching to make it more like engraving. Etching has the advantage of being very fast, but you don't have the kind of beauty, the kind of beautiful line that they call of engraving. So he created this tool called an échoppe, which is basically just a little etching burin with a little point at it, but you can vary the width of the lines. There's some lines here that are very fine, and then you see these very dense, heavy lines, so that he's able to create this sort of 3-dimensional quality that is much more like drawing than it is like printmaking up to that point, and it's also much more like engraving. What Goya is most known for is taking a technique called aquatint and making the most of its expressive possibilities. It's an intaglio technique, so it's also typically on copper. But what you're doing is you're creating broad tonal areas. So usually what it means is instead of having to create, like Callot did, these kind of thick and thin lines, or these kind of crosshatch lines to create tone, you can create these broad areas of tone just based on how much aquatint you use. And it creates a much more painterly kind of print. Instead of this kind of stark black and white contrast, you get these kind of variations. Callot is using etching in this new way. Goya is using aquatint, and Bellows is using a process called lithography. It allows you to create basically a drawing on stone, and then you can print the drawing over and over and over again. It's just like the artists draw on line. So it looks like a sketch, it looks like a chalk drawing, it looks like a charcoal drawing. Bellows was trying to represent in the war series these recent current events, and so he does it in this way that's very journalistic. It feels journalistic, it feels immediate, it feels like he's sketching it, like he's just seen it or just heard about it.
For this exhibition, we have reached out to our partner, USD, as well as our neighbor, the San Diego Museum of Art, to gather some works that are relevant and tied into our collection. And this time we're reaching out to a new partner, the San Diego Symphony.
Well, the Symphony's delighted to be partnering with the Timken for this exhibit. It's wonderful when works of art connect, when they're inspired by the same subjects. And of course we have these powerful images. So in this room, you will be feeling the power of some of the greatest music ever written, inspired by similar scenes.
Black and white, right? Paring things down to these essential contrasts, which these artists all understand so well and want to make full use of. It's a natural instinct, perhaps, to look away, but I think somebody who walks into the gallery to look at these works, to study them, to empathically engage with what these artists have seen, to really look carefully and begin to absorb their message, is going to walk out feeling changed, but also has the benefit of walking out into this other beautiful space and being reminded not just of the unspeakable things that men and women have done to each other over time, but also the greatest things they've done. And I think that that is a relationship that we have with history and with beauty that is worth pursuing in places like the Timken.